Hi guys, I'm Freedom and this is Narc Free Formula. Thanks for joining me today. Today I wanted to just quickly touch on the second phase of the narc cycle. So in every relationship there is a cycle. Rephrase that. In every narc, I don't even like to call them relationship because they're not really, but I will call it relationship just because that helps with everyone's understanding. So in every narc relationship, there is a cycle. There is 3 phases: the idealization phase, the devaluation phase, and the discard phase. So we've discussed the idealization phase in an earlier video, and now I'm going to discuss the devaluation. Devaluation can happen quite early in the piece, in the relationship. So it usually happens once the narcissist or sociopath feels that they have you where they want you. So under control, in a position where you are relatively powerless, where you couldn't really leave them if you tried. That's kind of the perfect spot for where the narcissist wants you to be. So once you're in that position, the devaluation stage will occur. So devaluation can widely fluctuate and vary between slight and subtle put downs. So at one end of the scale is slight and subtle put downs. You know, maybe they're not referring you by your love name or pet name anymore. You know, maybe they, aren't doing the little things that, that they know you like, say in bed or around the house. They're not helping out the way they did. You know, there's subtle shifts in their persona, their personality, and their behavior. And it's being done for a few different reasons, but one of those reasons is to make you feel unsure of yourself, to make you work harder to try and regain and bring back the man who was there at the idealization phase, so the love bombing stage. You want to bring that version of your man back. And you're thinking it must be something you've done because they always pretend that you've done something wrong for them to abuse you. Whereas in actual fact, they're just abusive people looking for an excuse. So as I said, devaluation can start mildly. It may swing between 2 extremes, or it may go to the extreme of violence and physical abuse. So they can be very controlling. So financially, sexually, they might isolate you. You're not allowed to go and see your friends or your family anymore. Or if you do, they make such a scene, or they make you so uncomfortable that, you make a little mental note, oh, well, I won't do that again. Everything that they do it for a reason, and it's always to get what they want, the outcomes that they want. Just excuse me just for 1 second. I'm just realizing I'm getting low on my battery. Hopefully it'll last out. So let me just quickly check. Okay, all right, let's see how we go. So as I said, it could be things like they're never satisfied with what you've done. So all of a sudden the meals that they used to love, they don't like, and you're wondering maybe you did it differently this time, and maybe something's wrong with that. They do the same thing in the bedroom. The things that they once said that they loved, now they don't seem to like, and it's all very confusing. They start, putting you down. They don't really want to spend as much time with you anymore. They let you be around, but they don't really make you feel welcome. And as soon as you try and leave, of course, that's when they will go back to the love bombing. So it's this intermittent reinforcement. So they're occasionally loving, they're occasionally good, they'll occasionally have this mind-blowing sex that'll make you, think the old him is back and everything's going to be great again. But it's all just part of this devaluation phase. And one thing that the devaluation phase means is this: discard is not far down the track. A lot of long-term relationships with narcissists run along this cycle, because they also get a perverse thrill out of discarding you and then winning you back. That makes them feel like $1,000,000, because, you know, just for example, they may have, like, my ex, for example, has given his new supply double black eyes. He rang me and he told me about it, so I know it. Now, she's taken him back. That makes him feel like a god amongst men, because look, not only did he treat her so badly, he physically hurt her, and she still took him back. So what's that saying to him about, you know, his value and worth? He thinks he is awesome, right? But the saddest thing is, the lower your self-esteem and the more abuse that you'll tolerate and the more abuse that you'll put up with, the more they will give. You know, he might change his behavior now, so he might not hit her again. You know, he'll never need to hit her again, because all he's going to have to do now is give her the look that says, if you keep going, you're going to get double black eyes. And so she will stop whatever it is that she was doing, the way she was behaving, whatever. So yeah, the devaluation stage, there's a lot of control factors in play. They're still milking you for whatever it is, you know, supply that they're getting, that they want from you, but they're also actively looking around for someone to replace you. And that's what you don't know yet. And that is that your days are numbered. It's just a matter of when. And they have to find supply. They're trying people on left, right, and centre. You don't even realise they're trying people on to see if they have the potential to be their new supply, right? But there's certain criteria that they have to find. So they're going to keep you in place until they find someone who has got the exact criteria that they're looking for, and then the discard will happen. Then you'll know. That's when you'll have your final discard. I mean, not that anything's ever final with narcissists, because they recycle exes all the time, but the term is final discard. So, as I said, you know, you could be in a relationship for 20 years going through this cycle of abuse, and then going back to them, being love bombed by them, going back to them, devaluation starts all over again. And just like the cycle of abuse with domestic violence, the exact same cycle occurs with narcissists, and often there is domestic violence involved. Well, there is. I mean, there not often, there is. You know, whether it's financial, physical, spiritual, emotional, sexual abuse, it's all there. You know, there's all these control factors, all these punishments. You know, you're walking around on eggshells half the time. You know, you're getting the silent treatment the other half the time, or then, as I said, you know, you're having mind-blowing sex and everything seems to be okay, and that'll keep you there for another week or two or however long. And that is the cycle of abuse that occurs with the narcissists. And to be honest, you know, the devaluation stage, it's coming. The discard phase, it's coming. And to be honest, when it happens, just take that moment. Seize your moment. You know, that might be your first and only actual way out. For me, it took years for an actual situation to arrive where I could actually get out. And it actually took a new supply who was dumb enough and young enough and victim enough to be the perfect, you know, victim. So it was great. You know, he was distracted. I managed to get myself out. And now it's all just too late for him. And that's, you know, great, good, excellent. Yay for me. So, darlings, this is it. The discard phase is coming. If you're being devalued, right, just think about this. When men love things, so think about their favourite car that they go out there and polish on the weekends, or their ornaments, or their trophies, or their things that no one's allowed to touch, and, you know, they keep up in glass cabinets, and it's their prized possession, and they show them off. Right? So when people value things and people, they look after them. So if you're being devalued, it's because you don't actually hold value to them anymore. Okay? They're actually annoyed to see you. They actually despise the fact that you take so much abuse and you still stay. You know, they honestly, it makes them feel physically sick, you know, and then they get angry at themselves for putting up with it. And, you know, there's this awful cycle where neither person can break away. And I know this because I was stuck in this kind of situation for years. So the discard is coming. So get ready for it and use that opportunity to get out. Okay, because a narc-free life is so much better. That's all I can say. A million times better. Okay, I'm going to end that there. So get narc-free and stay narc-free. Thanks for joining me. Bye.